Hey everyone, welcome to the Stellaris tutorial starting in Stellaris version 1.2.0. This is just after the Asimov update was released a few hours ago, I suppose. And so we're going to start this tutorial with your character creation. Now you have 6 races, or 6 different types of groups to choose from. So mammals, which includes the humans, and various other things. Reptilian, avian, arthropod, molluscoid, and fungoid. So let's go with maybe arthropod. It doesn't really matter, your appearance is just up to you. It doesn't have any thing in the game that will be changed due to your appearance, but it's just for aesthetic purposes. How about this? It looks weird. Sure. Now the name, you can completely customize it if you want, change it in, and the other species will use that to refer to you. You can also use this randomize name button, and that'll give you name, the plural and adjective already, so you don't have to. If coming up with strange names isn't your goal here. So we'll just go with Haspalv. And you can also customize it even further, give it a biography if you'd like. You can get long, complicated. The pre-mades have complicated biographies already. And so if you really want to get into the RPG style of this game, you can go ahead and do that. Keep it simple. So this here gives you a list of preset names. You can, there are mods out there that will allow you to insert your own if you'd like. In vanilla, this is all you have, and probably there's no mods that will support it right now, just because 1.2 just came out. But I'm sure within a couple days, those mods will be updated, if they aren't already. So we'll go with Arthropod 2, because it looks fun. They're often very complicated names, except maybe Mammalian. I think they're a human, but maybe not. Okay. Now, again, the name list doesn't really mean anything, but that's what your leaders, your ships, your planes, and your fleets are going to be named. Now, on to a very important part, is your traits. The traits will give your species various benefits, or in this case, it will take away some specs from your species in terms of here you have habitability is -10. That's fairly bad. You don't want your habitability to be low, because when you try to colonize other planets, it's going to take longer to breed, your people will be less happy, which can cause factions, and that'll cause all sorts of problems. But the reason you might take some of these negative traits is because here you have a certain amount of trait points, and you only get 2. So say if you want to be extremely adaptive, well, then you have -2. You cannot continue. Your species is too powerful relative to the others. So it needs to be balanced out with something. So if you do extremely adaptive, well, then you can't do non-adaptive, obviously, because those would counter each other, along with just regular adaptive. Then you can do like fleeting, decadent. So fleeting gives you lifespan, your leader lifespan -15 years, which is brutal because the average lifespan is around, I don't know, 70 to, they'll probably die before they're 80 normally, unless you you know, you can research to increase that. There's also certain traits that will increase that, such as vulnerable and enduring. I think I'll actually pick up Enduring, because I really do not like having to spend so much influence on buying leaders all the time, because they just die so quick. Now, Endurance only 1, which is nice. Venerable, I think that's how you pronounce it, is 5, and it's only 3 times as good, so it doesn't seem amazing to me. I suppose it does make sense, but it's just a very big commitment. Basically, you can only have that one trait and then negatives the rest of them. And that's no fun. So, we are going to take a negative. We're going to take sedentary rather. This will increase your migration speed. Migration in this game can be important, depending on your playstyle, but for me, I don't think it's going to be. Now, you can pick intelligent. That'll increase the rate at which you research. Research is very, very important, of course, but I don't think I'm going to go for that. I think I'm going to take thrifty, and that's because I always run into trouble with energy. So there are our traits. We have one trait pick left, but we can't pick anything because we have 0 points. So that's alright. So I'll give our leader Oberfolg. And this isn't going to be the ruler title, it's just that we haven't picked out anything yet. This species actually doesn't have any color variants, and it has no clothes, so this really doesn't matter. I don't think any species has any phenotype currently, or hairstyle. That'll be added into the game later. So currently this is what we got. Now, onto the world preference and the world name and star name. We're going to give it a random name that I decide upon. Okay, this one looks fine. Tizek and Tirpatna. So we have continental worlds, which is, Earth is a continental world. Ocean worlds, where they're mostly ocean. Arctic, they're very cold. Tundra, they're also very cold. These seem very similar, but there are a few differences, I guess. Either way, if you pick one of these 2 worlds, then your next closest is going to be the other. So if you pick Arctic, Tundra is going to be pretty habitable as well. So arid is very hot. Desert is also very hot, so again, similar here. Again, there are some differences there. I don't feel like they're incredibly important. There should be roughly an equal amount of these worlds generated, so it doesn't really matter. And then tropical, well, that's what you'd assume to be tropical. It's humid, rocky, and yeah, it has a lot of dense vegetation. So they all, it's truly up to preference for what you want, because it shouldn't matter too much. You're going to be able to research the ability to colonize other planets anyways later on, but it's just what you start with, what the only places you're going to be able to colonize right away. So I think we can go with a arid world. Just why not? The starting solar system, basically it allows you to pick between the Sol system, which is our home, the Deneb system, which I have no idea what it is. You can pick it if you like, or random, and I'm just going to go with random. So you can pick city appearance. I think we're Anthropod. Are we? We're not even showing. Okay, we're avians. Really? It's a weird looking bird. Okay. So we can go with even. You can go with whatever you want, but I just like to keep them similar. Now on to another important part, is your government and ethics. So there's a lot of different types of governments. There's 15, and you can only pick some if you have certain ethics. So you get 3 points. The blues are worth 1, the oranges are worth 2. So you can pick either 2 or 3 different ethics, and some are they don't work out together. You can't be militarists and pacifists. You can't be individualists and collectivists. Now what these mean, you like war. It's militarist. Xenophobe, you don't like aliens. Individualists, you enjoy individual freedoms. The individual is more important than the community, basically. Individual rights. And basically just means anti-slavery, and on the other spectrum, collectivist is slavery. Then you have materialists, which are science-based. Pacifists don't like war, naturally. Xenophiles love aliens. So collectivists love slaves, and basically they are community. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And finally, spiritualists, which are, well, they're religious. And the spiritualist has actually gotten an upgrade. It used to only give happiness, now it gives ethics divergence. Or less ethics divergence, which is great. For us, I think we're going to go with individualist, and this is because, again, it gives you energy. You don't like slaves, which is fine. I generally don't use slaves much, and more people will like you most of the time. So I don't know if we're going to go fanatic or not. I think I also might want xenophile. I kind of want to cooperate with other people, so I can show you the full extent of this. And perhaps we can go with materialist, just to give us a boost in the sciences. So there's various forms of government we can take. Currently we only have 4 because of our choices here. But for instance, if we went militarist, then we could have picked these guys like a military dictatorship, a junta, or a military republic. These are the spiritual ones, divine mandate, you know. And they all have different perks. And the thing about governments is some other empires will not agree with your stance, government, or your ethics, and they might hate you for it, or they might like you because of it. For instance, other materialists will think more highly of you because you are a materialist, and spiritualists will think less of you because you are a materialist. So it's just like that. Now here, I think we're going to go with a plutocratic oligarchy. Their elections are only held every 40 to 50 years, as opposed to a democracy, where they're held, you know, every 10 years here. And as opposed to this last part where it's a form of autocracy, and they don't have elections. They have it's like when they die, their children will take over, sort of deal. So we're gonna go here because it gives you energy credits, mineral credits, and your mining station build cost is less. So that's very nice. It's not gonna give me one. There may still be a few bugs to work out, such as randomizing names. So let's go our species for Haspalth. But Haspalth, like that one. That's fine. And now, so it's just your empire names, what people will refer you as, and what will be viewed on the map. So your flag, you can pick through various symbols, and they will also appear on the map as your symbol, as to distinguish you from the other empires. So I think we may go with something like that, sure. And now you can pick your background and your colors. Let's go with that. That looks decent. Now your starting weapon can be important. A lot of people advocate for missile weapons because they're strong early on. You're going to get all of these at some point. It's just what you start with. So I think we'll start with missiles because they're the simplest. Now, warp travel, when I say simplest, I just mean they're strong in the early game and you'll get the others later. In terms of this actually comes from simplicity comes into play here. Warp travel is the most simple because you just travel from one star to the next, as long as you can, as long as it's in your range. But you do have a range for each individual ship or fleet, how far they can go. Hyperspace travel is different. It doesn't have a range and everything. You can go everywhere. However, you have to go along the lines of the hyperspace, which makes it troublesome. I do not like hyperspace at all because you can get blocked by other empires and you just simply can't move anymore. As opposed to warp travel, you can just go around them no matter what. Wormholes are regarded as the most powerful, and that's because you can jump over other empires if you want, as long as you have a wormhole. They're a little more complicated, and I do think they're very strong, but I also do like warp travel, and so we're going to go with that for the means of this tutorial. Next up, you have your ship appearance. This is final, and you can just pick one that you like the best. We're avian, apparently, so we're going to go with avian. This does not look like an avian, but that's fine. And so here, when you're picked all that, you get an overview of your species. And so you can give it once over, make sure everything's to your liking, and you can save it, and then you're done. Next up, you're going to pick the game details. So you have different sizes of galaxies, different types of galaxies. Elliptical is what the most basic galaxy is. It's just all the stars are connected. There's no empty space, really. Spiral has some space in between because the arms go out and there's empty space, just like in a normal spiral galaxy that we can see from Earth and in real life. And then there's four arms as well, and then ring. Basically all the galaxies are in a ring, and there's empty space in between you and the center of the galaxy. So we're just going to go with elliptical. I think we'll go with maybe, we could go tiny, but then it's very, very small. And yeah, as you can see, this one has 11 empires, whereas a tiny only has 2. And that doesn't really let you see all of the details that this has. So we're going to go with a small galaxy. And I guess we could make this more, up to 8, but it would just be very crowded. So we're going to go small. We're going to decrease that to 8. That's fine. 3 of the AIs start with an advantage. That means that 3 other regular empires will be more advanced than you when it starts off. That's the advantage they get, and that's the only advantage they get. It is a big advantage, though, to be fair. And so if you want to turn this down to 0, I would understand. I prefer that. You can change the AI aggressive, low, high, normal. It's just how bloodthirsty they are. Difficulty, normal is the lowest, and there's insane and hard. Here you can ban certain travel systems and only have warp or only have hyperdrive, only wormhole, or you can just allow any, which we will allow. And this is Iron Man, which you can't cheat, and you cannot load various save modes. There's really no point in doing it, so we're just going to start it off. Alright, thank you. This has been the first part of the tutorial series, and next time we will look at just starting off with your empire.